When you fill out a government form today, you eventually hit the demographic section. You find the question about your religion, you find the single box that best applies to you, and you check it. But if you tried to hand one of these forms to a person in 19th century Punjab, they wouldn't know what to do with it. In this society, clear-cut religious borders didn't exist. The dominant culture of the era was a pluralistic system known as Sanatan Sikhism. Instead of adhering to isolated dogmas, Sanatan Sikhs blended traditions from across the region. For example, it was common for Sanatan Sikhs to undertake long-distance pilgrimages to the shrines of Muslim Sufi saints like Sakhi Sarwar. They would set up camps and hire professional guides to honor the saint alongside Muslim devotees. At the same time, these communities integrated the Hindu caste system, known as Varnashrama Dharma, into their own societal rules, enforcing purity and pollution taboos regarding food, marriage, and temple entry. In this historical ecosystem, holding multiple overlapping religious identities wasn't a contradiction. A person could observe Sikh rituals, venerate a Muslim saint, and follow Hindu caste structure simultaneously. It was the standard way of life. As the British Empire solidified its rule over India, administrators faced a problem of scale. To govern a population of millions, they needed a mechanism to categorize the people they were ruling. Their solution was the decennial census, a 10-year demographic survey designed as a tool for colonial governance and political control. The British operated on a Judeo-Christian framework of exclusive religion, the idea that a person is entirely one thing or entirely another. This logic directly contradicted the Indian reality of shared practices. To process the population on a spreadsheet, the British administrative machine required clear, binary data. It simply had no way to account for the gray areas that defined Punjabi life. When the colonial government rolled out the first comprehensive censuses in 1881 and 1891, the administrators struggled to interpret the local faiths they were trying to count. The British Census Commissioners established narrow criteria for what constituted a Sikh. To be counted as one, an individual had to maintain the 5 external symbols of the faith, like uncut hair, and abstain from tobacco. This document is a table from the 1891 census, and it shows the results of those rigid rules. Because millions of Sanatan Sikhs occasionally cut their hair or observed regional rituals, the administrative machine categorized them as Hindus. Looking at this data, you can see distinct groups like the Udasi, or the followers of Guru Gobind Singh, being swallowed entirely by the aggregate column for the Hindu category. A clerical requirement for clear demographic categories resulted in the statistical erasure of a significant portion of the Sikh population on paper. Based on this flawed data, British officials concluded that the Sikh religion was in decline and on the verge of extinction. This statistical threat was compounded by Christian missionary campaigns, which were moving into Punjabi society and successfully targeting the lower castes that the Sanatan Sikh system had marginalized. The pressure was signaled most clearly by the conversion of Maharaja Dalip Singh. For Sikh leaders, watching the son of the ruler Ranjit Singh renounce his religion for Christianity was a sign that the boundaries of their community were failing. Sikh elites realized that the Vasalula boundaries, once a source of cultural adaptability, had become a weakness in a society governed by colonial data. To survive the era of bureaucratic classification, Sikhism could no longer remain amorphous. It had to be re-engineered to fit into the government's categories. A new cultural elite emerged to take on this task. A faction within the Singh Sapa movement known as the Tat Khalsa sought to recast Sikh tradition into a more homogeneous form. They operated under a separatist motto, Hum Hindu Nahin, we are not Hindus. Their first step was redrawing physical boundaries. The Tat Khalsa targeted sacred spaces like the Golden Temple, purging non-Sikh icons and ensuring the physical space reflected a single distinct faith. Next, they addressed shared cultural practices. They launched campaigns to ban customary rural festivals, like the Tarn Tarn Fair, arguing that these regional celebrations polluted Sikh sacred space. They even addressed the calendar. To break the population away from the Hindu lunar cycles that had dictated daily life, the Tat Khalsa promoted an exclusive calendar for their community, the Nanak Shahi. Through new dietary rules, uniform dress codes, and specific rites of passage, the Tat Khalsa built a defended cultural identity to replace the open Sanatan model. Those who refused to follow this new standard were gradually displaced. Over time, groups holding on to the pluralist ways were pushed to the margins of Sikh culture, or were forced to assimilate elsewhere. The Tat Khalsa's approach eventually triumphed. The pluralist model was replaced by the uniform Sikh identity widely recognized today. The unyielding religious boundaries we take for granted today are rarely ancient. Often, they are modern inventions, built when a complex culture is forced to adapt to the logic of a spreadsheet.